Dr. Fauci, I'm running into something that's pretty interesting. I believe the United States is the only major Western country that now requires its citizens to test negative for COVID before they can get on an airplane and re-enter the country. I believe that's accurate. And on the other hand, we're hearing now that, for example, Title 42, which is a COVID-era policy, should be lifted because we've reached a point now where COVID is manageable or at a level where we no longer need Title 42. And we obviously know we have a problem in our southern border where every day people are entering the country illegally, and many are not even being tested for COVID, and even if they are, they're being allowed to stay, and most certainly would under Title 42. I don't understand. How do we tell American citizens if you test positive, even if it's dead virus that's been in your system for 10 days, because you can test positive days after you're no longer infectious, and you can't enter your own country, but people, if you arrive illegally, whether you test positive or not, if you say the magic words for asylum, you get to stay in the country. And this is a real life scenario. I know people that are abroad, they test positive, they're not sick, maybe they were sick a week ago, and they can't afford to continue to pay for hotel rooms and staying overseas until they can finally score a negative test. Has the time come for us to lift this, in your view, having been so integral in our COVID response? Are we at a point now where American citizens should be allowed to return to their country without testing negative?
I'm not. Thank you for the question. It's an important question. I don't have the answer to that. I mean, we work with our CDC colleagues to continue to examine the feasibility of that and the desirability of that. I think the idea of having an immigration issue mixed with a public health issue for the general population, I think those probably should be separated.
Well, except they're interrelated because they're both involve groups of people entering the United States. One group is citizens of the country entering legally. The other group, frankly, are people that are not entering legally. The group that's not entering legally, even if they test positive, if they're even tested, get to stay. The American citizen can't re-enter their own country until they produce a negative. And my point is, if we've reached a point in COVID where we no longer need Title 42 as a COVID restriction for illegal entry, why do we still need travel restrictions for American citizens for legal entry into their own country? That's the genesis of the question. That's where I think the link is. It sort of seems to be at odds with it.
Yeah.